Voter registration continues across the country today. Heads of states and leaders of political parties across Africa are paying tribute to the late Namibian president, Hage Geingob. A very good afternoon. We're coming to you live from our studios here in Auckland Park, Johannesburg. Thank you very much for tuning in. You're watching The Week Ahead. You can interact with us on social media platforms. It's at Week Ahead, and our hashtag is The Week Ahead. I'm your host, Mfundo Mabala. Various political parties have kicked off this weekend's voter registration drive across the country. IFP President Velenkosini SABC is taking his voter registration campaign to Ndwedwe, north of Durban. Now, SABC News reporter Mlondi Khadebe, as well as video journalist Butembe, join us live from Ndwedwe. Good afternoon, Mlondi. Just take us through the activities that are currently taking place where you are.
Thank you very much, Mfundo. We are here in Ndwedwe at Sotobe High School, where the president of the IFP, Velenkosini SABC, visited just a few minutes ago. He's saying that he's very happy with how the political parties in the province of KwaZulu-Natal are treating each other. Remember that the province of KwaZulu-Natal, in some areas, it used to be there were no-go areas. Some parties were not allowed to go and campaign or canvass for votes in those areas. But today he's saying that in the past 2 days, yesterday and today, he did see that the political parties in the province of KwaZulu-Natal, they are showing growth because they are showing that they are very happy to work with each other and they are making sure that they protect each other. Even though he's saying that the IEC also thanked the IEC with the work they done. He's saying that since yesterday and today, all voting stations that he visited, they opened on time and voters were able to come in and register. I'll just speak to one of the residents here in Ndwedwe who came to vote for basically to register for the first time. Asanda kafushane njengoba usho nje ukuthi ubuzobhalisela ukuvota, ngabe ukuvota kwakho kokuqala noma uyaphinda ubuzobheka?
Empeleni nje beke kokuqala ngizobhalisela ukuvota namhlanje.
Iziphi izinto mhlambe ozenze ukuthi mhlambe uqhuzeleke noma uqhuqumezeleke ukuthi uzobhalisela ukuvota nokuthi uvotelani, yini inkinga enkulu eninayo endaweni?
Ngisho nje ngokungahlonizwa ukuthi into engenza ukuthi ngiqhuquzeleke kakhulu ukuthi ngizovota, indlela nje bengibona ngayo izinto zenzeke emphakathini, ngiphinde ngilalele futhi nako gogo isihlala nabe emakhaya besichazela nje ukuthi izinto ayisenzeki ngendlela efanayo nakuqala. Ngichazela ukuthi ziningi kakhulu izinto ezishintshile, mhlambe ngingabala mhlambe bangitshela ukuthi intsha eningi esikhathini samanje sibandakanya kakhulu ezintweni engekho right. So nami njengoba nje ngiqala ukuzovota ukubhalisela ukuvota namhlanje ngenzela ukuthi mhlambe nami lami ivoti libalwe namavoti azokwazi ukuthi akwazi ukushintsha leyo ntsha leyo ukuze ikwazi ukuthi ifocus noma inake izinto ezokwazi ukuthi impilo yazo iqhubekele phambili.
Uma sikhuluma nabanye abantu abasha bakhala ngokuthi ingqalasizinda noma izinto ezifana nogesi, amanzi, imigwaqo, izikole zokufundela mhlawumbe uma usuphasile high school kwazona lezi ezikhona ama high school akude nendawo ebahlala kuzona, mhlawumbe olwakho uluvo luthini kuloko?
Khona ngisho nje ngokungahlonizwa ukuthi abasho kanjalo baqinisile kakhulu ngoba zona izikole zithanda ukuthi ziqhele abafundi bathanda ukuthi baqhelane kakhulu nalapho kufundelwa khona, okwenza ukuthi nje kugcine kuba nzima ngisho ukuthi abafundi mhlambe bakhona ukuthi ba attend esikoleni ngendlela ekuyiyona ngoba uthola ukuthi mhlambe ayikho ne transport mhlambe ebekelwe bona abafundi ukuthi bakwazi ukuthi mhlambe basuke emakhaya beze ezikoleni. So lokho kwenza ukuthi kube nzima kakhulu ukuthi mhlambe kufunde kuthatha abanye abafundi sebefika late esikoleni. Lokho kuyabaphazamisa abafundi ukuthi mhlambe bagcine bengakwazanga ukucosha lolwazi lolu abadingayo ukuze mhlambe bagcine bephasa ngendlela efanele ukuthi baphase ngayo.
Ngabe mhlambe ukuvota kwakho ngesikhathi mase kumenyezelwe isikhathi sokuvota kuyobe kuvotela ukuthi kube noshintsho endaweni ohlala kuyona?
ngisho nje ngokukhulu ungahloniza ukuthi ngempela ngivotela ukuthi kube noshintsho olukhulu futhi mhlambe sibone abafundi laba abahlala endaweni ezikude mhlambe bethola mhlambe ama transport mhlambe azobalanda ongaba mhlambe amabhasi noma nje izithuthi nje mhlambe ezokhona ukuthi bathathe ibayise esikoleni khona bezokhona ukuthi mhlambe bakwazi ukuthi bafike ngesikhathi esikoleni ukuze bezothola lonke ulwazi abadinga ukuze impilo yabo iqhubekele phambili.
Asibonga kakhulu isikhathi sakho.
Yebo siyabonga kakhulu.
Basically, Fundo, he is saying that he just came today to register to vote because previously he was not registered, but he wants to make sure that when the president announced the date for a vote, he will be able to cast his vote for change because he wanted most of the things that are happening in his area to change, especially the lack of roads, the lack of water and electricity. Also that the higher institutions for them, they are far away from where they stay. Back to you in studio, Mfundo.
Thank you very much, Mlondi. What a patriotic young man. Well, we continue with our coverage on voter registration weekend. It's the last day of voter registration today. This is ahead of the upcoming 2024 general elections. And President Cyril Ramaphosa is currently visiting Mamelodi outside Pretoria. To give us more on the drive is SABC News reporter Ntebu Mukobo. Ntebu, what is the ANC president's message during this voter registration weekend?
Well, Mfundo, good afternoon and good afternoon to the viewers. Yes, the president of the ANC has been crisscrossing Gauteng for the past 2 days, I would say, and his message is very clear. He is encouraging South Africans, especially those who haven't registered, to register and take this opportunity to register so that they prepare themselves when election day comes. Then they are ready to go and vote. And in fact, he asked them to really vote and vote the right way, vote for the ANC, as he is the president of the ANC. His message is very clear. He says that it's worth it to really participate in the democratic process of the country, especially voting, because you would understand, Mfundo, that currently there are 27 million people in the voters' roll. But in the last election, 13 million people didn't vote, didn't even care to participate in those elections. So the president was out and about encouraging people who have registered to take that opportunity to go out and vote when election day comes, and those who didn't register to register and ready themselves to vote when election day comes.
That is important, that beyond this tall feat that they have achieved as the IEC of 27 million plus voters, it is important that come voting day that most of them go, or all of them go, the 27 million that many are so pleased with. So quite an important day nevertheless today in Ntebu. We'll catch up with you a bit later on as we continue with the day. To this story now, voter registration continues in the Eastern Cape. SABC News reporter Abongile Janchis as well as video journalist Vuyokazi Funani join us live from Duncan Village in the Eastern Cape. Abongile, good afternoon. Have residents come out in their numbers there to register? All right. Unfortunately, Abongile is not ready for us. We must certainly catch up with him in the Eastern Cape in just a short while. But let's shift our focus to this story now. The discussion at this year's Mining Indaba will center around how Africa can take advantage of the energy transition to ensure a cleaner energy future, while at the same time considering responsible sourcing and sustained ethical supplies of the critical minerals needed. Also under discussion will be how the continent can power the production of transition minerals while ensuring justice for employees affected through local content partnerships and the distribution of mining benefits. We're joined now by Vusi Mpofu, he's CID Sector Lead, Mining and Chemicals at Nedbank. All right, let's quickly take you to an ad break. We'll continue that particular conversation in just a bit. Now, voter registration continues in the Eastern Cape. SABC News reporter Abongile Janchis, as well as video journalist Vuyokazi Funani, join us live from Duncan Village in East London. Good afternoon, Abongile. Before we get to the activity that's taking place at the voter registration centre, perhaps paint us a picture of the Duncan Village. What are the community members there seized with? Some of the issues that have been plaguing that community?
Well, Mfundo, good afternoon to you too. Well, we are still in the area of Duncan Village here in the Buffalo City Metro, where it's like I said during the previous crossing, that its issues of service delivery are well documented. Well, even the residents here from this part where we're at are saying that they are sharing the same sentiments of service delivery and saying that they need immediate attention. Issues such as sewage, issues such as electricity that's illegally connected, which causes a safety risk to the young children who live in this community. If my colleague Vuyokazi Funani could show you what we are talking about, lack of rubbish collection, that's the sewage that these residents are subjected to on a daily basis, Mfundo. They are saying that it's not okay for them to be doing such kind of things. They need immediate attention from the authorities, that be particularly the municipality, which is the Buffalo City Metro. They are saying that they've been knocking on doors, they've been voting for quite some time, but the interventions of service delivery are little to nothing. That's the sentiments that they are sharing. Without further ado, let's bring in one of the community members. Sir, I understand that you're a community activist. Kindly introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Tembekile Chavez Harvey. I'm staying here in Duncan Village, born and bred in Duncan Village. That's who I am.
Tell us about what you've been experiencing here. I can feel the stench of the sewage. It's not okay at all.
You know what? It's like we are back before 1994. Here in this community of Duncan Village, we are still using bucket system in this area. We are in Ward 2. We are still using bucket system. As you see, people help themselves in their shacks and come and throw everything here. The toilet has been closed. It has been closed for now 2.5 years or 1.5. I don't know what to say, but it has been closed. So people are just helping themselves in their houses and come and throw everything. And us that are staying nearby, we are experiencing this. This is smelling like nothing. You can't even eat. So we like the authorities or whoever is on top to come and fix what the problem that we are having here.
Have you registered to vote despite these challenges?
No, we don't have a problem with the IEC coming to our Ryan Mapisa branch. We don't have a problem them where people have registered, and you know what? This branch has got lots of voters. We are voting here. Most of the people, they know that they should go and vote.
And sir, the youth this is a crime-ridden area. We've heard reports of crime taking place in this area, and some of the people are attributing that to lack of opportunities for them, and unemployment is rife. Take us through that.
You know what? With the youth, I think since 1994, it's been said that things will change. Yes, things are changing, but now come down to the grassroots, where everything is happening. Things are happening here, where we are, at the ground floor. It's not like on top. So, with the youth, we would like the government to at least come to us, to the youth, because, you know, I'm not a youth anymore, but I'm there for my community and the youth. So, we'd like the government to come and at least assist the youth in everything that the youth need, and you know what, at least come up with something just to change an economical change to the ward itself. So I think that goes down from the top to the councillors, that at least come with an economical change, that a mindset where we teach youth what the skills and everything in our ward. I think such things could help.
And let's talk about the elderly people living here. I understand that some of them have been waiting for houses for quite a long period of time. Take us through that.
You know what? With the houses, I've been staying in Duncan Village now for 38 years. Still, people are not getting houses. I think that's that area there, Area 10, has been long there, and then people are still staying there. Yes, a fire came, and then people the government built temporal shacks, but those temporal shacks are not yet done, and people are still staying in shacks. So even SABC can go with the cameras and go and show the place. It's not done. Everything is just being done, half done.
Thanks a lot for your time.
Thank you.
Well, strong sentiments there, Mfundo. That's the plight of the residents here in Duncan Village, according to my guest. And he's saying that they've been wanting these. They've been knocking on doors for them to intervene, but that's not happening. And even though that's not happening, they will continue their right and exercise that right to vote, because they know the importance of voting, but hoping that it will come with change, that much needed change, like cleaning of this area, collecting rubbish. I've seen them collecting rubbish, but really there's still more to be done with regards to that. You recall years ago, the president of the country launched the Good Clean Deeds program here, which is aimed at cleaning the environment, keeping a safe, clean environment. And it was launched in this area of Duncan Village. But as you see it now, it's still back to square one. So a lot needs to be done in this area. Mfundo?
The discussion at this year's Mining Indaba will center around how Africa can take advantage of the energy transition to ensure a cleaner energy future, while at the same time considering responsible sourcing and sustained ethical supplies of the critical minerals needed. Also under discussion will be how the continent can power the production of transition minerals while ensuring justice for employees affected through local content partnerships and the distribution of mining benefits. We're joined now by Vusi Mpofu. He's CID Sector Lead Mining and Chemicals at Nedbank. Vusi, good afternoon and thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Mfundo. A good afternoon to you and the viewers of The Week Ahead.
No, it's a pleasure to have you with us. Now, the theme of this year's Indaba is embracing the power of positive disruption, a bold new future for African mining. What does this really mean, and does it suggest a positive tone for the gathering?
Absolutely. I think we've got to be optimistic. It is a human condition to always be hopeful. And when we talk about disruption, it's really about governments leading the way and being able to have progressive policies that are able to attract the investment that is required to be able to create the capacity of the mining of those transition minerals as the world transitions from a carbon-heavy past into a greener future.
Mm-hmm. Now, as we all know, mining contributes immensely to industrialization and growth of economies, but it cannot be at the expense of our environment. That conversation you speak of, transitioning to greener and cleaner mining, seems to be one that is being had, but is it satisfactory? Are you satisfied at the pace at which we're transitioning?
That's always going to be a focus of contention. There's always going to be different views on whether mining as an industry is sufficiently responsible in the way that our resources are exploited. But really, it's a balance, and what we begun to see is that South Africa has world-class regulation in terms of what miners are expected to do. Of course, there is a gap between what the regulations require miners to do and the actual monitoring and enforcement of those regulations. But of course, the bigger miners definitely are, for them to be able to operate and renew licenses, do exploit resources in quite a sustainable fashion. That said, the most important thing, when you drive across the hinterlands of South Africa, you find those mining towns that have been left behind. Once a resource has been exhausted, you do find that there is a downturn in the economic fortunes of the people in that particular area. And for me, one of those biggest areas is how do we make sure that once the mine closes down sustainability must also translate into continued economic future and livelihood for the people in that particular area beyond just the environment.
And Vusi, that is another conversation that's constantly had at this particular forum, where it's always about the social responsibility of these mines in the communities where they've mined or continue to mine. It's an age-old discussion, yet we still have communities that would ever so often be protesting, saying the mine strips the earth of its resources and leaves them with nothing. What more can be said around this, honestly speaking?
What has definitely happened in the past, call it 10 years, is that the stakeholder relations role within particularly the larger mining houses has become critical. So in terms of that stakeholder relationship role, it's got to bring in all the communities in the area where the mine is actually located, make sure that in those communities benefit with job opportunities, and the mine must be able to develop that particular community in terms of roads, clinics, and schools. And to that extent, that starts making a positive difference that the community can see. Of course, it's not always the case, and in some areas that doesn't happen, and for sure it ends up in those protests that you see from communities who feel disenfranchised and left behind whilst their resource is being exploited by outsiders, as it were.
If we had to focus a bit more on South Africa's mining industry, it has been battered. I mean, last year we were reporting on the issues around logistics and the fact that a number of mines had indicated that they'd be looking to retrench because they cannot keep mining and just allowing for the resources to remain there at their mines because they simply cannot transport them to the ports to be exported. On just that front, what do you think our country needs to do now to ensure a better logistics value chain? Because there seems to be a hint, or some political parties are saying perhaps we seriously need to consider private-public partnerships.
Mfuda, your question is quite broad, and you touch on very important points. So it's not just a logistics issue. In South Africa, it's really an infrastructure issue, because the elephant that looms large in that conversation is obviously an Eskom, so there's disrupted power supply.
Yes.
And then number two, the point that you make on the logistics, if Transnet Freight Rail cannot come back up to capacity, what that means is we cannot get product to ports and we cannot get product to customers. And the mining game is a very simple one. The only things that management teams can control are costs. Those costs are only best managed by increasing economies of scale. So to the extent that a mine cannot pump out that production, those tons, those ounces, get them to port, get them to customers, then they are now at a disadvantage in terms of making sure that their cost per unit of whatever mineral or commodity they're producing becomes too high. And we get to this position where we are now, where you find that some miners are looking to retrench. And this is particularly focusing, it's something that's coming to the fore now because we're in a cycle of depressed commodity prices. So definitely it's going to be a big part of the discussions. On the energy side, the miners are obviously charging ahead or trying to get some renewable capacity on stream to try and manage the security of supply and the cost of the energy. On the logistics side, definitely the private-public partnerships are coming to the fore because large tracts, vast tracts of Transnet Freight Rail, of railway are now being are benefiting from security from the companies that move the bulks along those particular rail. And of course, we do expect that the partnerships spread into other areas of making sure that that rail capacity tries to get back to its past glory. Thanks,
Vusi, we most certainly hope that all of those conversations that will be had will eventually translate into something tangible where it's actually implemented. But thank you very much for your time this afternoon. That's Vusi Mpofu, CID Sector Lead, Mining and Chemicals at Nedbank. To this story now. The Electoral Commission has described yesterday's voter registration process as successful. It was the first day of its second weekend process. Voter registration at IEC local offices and online will remain open until President Cyril Ramaphosa proclaims an election date. He's expected to make the announcement in his State of the Nation address this Thursday.
We are doing our second registration over this weekend, yesterday and today. All of us as commissioners are deployed in different parts of the country, and happen to be responsible for the two provinces, which is KZN and Mpumalanga. So I had the opportunity to visit the northern part of KwaZulu-Natal yesterday, which covered two districts. Firstly, it was Mzinyati, that covered areas from Dandi, Ngutu, all the way to Mondlo, past the areas of Ngome and back to Dandi, and after Dandi I then proceeded to Danhauser and Newcastle, and the Danhauser and Newcastle, they fall under the Majuba district. And this morning I'm here at Khartsibanda, and I'm going to be visiting the voting stations in this area, and from here all the way to Mzinoni, and perhaps if time still allows, I should be able to also cover Imbalent. So this is an opportunity for us as the Commission to see on the ground the operations.
And how has been the operation? And also talk to us about the people. Are the people coming out in their numbers to come and register, and also to come and check that status?
As the Commission, we are pleased, and yesterday our head office issued a detailed media report, but we're looking at a very good turnout, around 300 and something thousand, and of those probably about 50,000 or so were new registrants, and we've seen that the response rate has been very good, but we're still urging people to come out in their numbers and make sure that they are fully registered. And as a Commission, we're proud of the milestone of 27 million voters now that are in our voters roll, taking into consideration that the voters roll always fluctuates. We have those who pass away, and it reduces the numbers and all of that. We've received a very, very good response, including that last week also we had the international registration. And so as the Commission, we are grateful to the response of all the South Africans, but we are also very happy that the innovations that have been introduced, in particular the online registration, people are responding to it very well.
Is it more people more responding to the online because it's easier and it's more you don't have to really go to a different polling station? Do you see that for young people, or do you see that in all the age groups, or do you see more older people would want to go to a polling station, and the young people, they would want to use the technology?
Yes, I think you see also that it manifests the access to the technology. The younger the people are, the more of them are able to utilize the online services. But internationally, we've also seen that people have come out and have used the online capability, which now makes it much more easy, user-friendly, to be in a position to either to register from as a new voter, but also to update our details, because people are mobile, and you are now in a position that at the convenience of your home or wherever you are able to access the IEC and update all your details, and you get to know where you are registered and if all your details also are complete. So those things have really taken the commission to the next level in terms of being user friendly and in terms of enabling optimum registration drive.
That also, we've seen that there are about 27 million people that have registered, but there should be more people that have registered. Do you guys think that, especially as the organization, are you guys doing more to ensure that we educate people about the importance of registering, the importance of going out and voting?
Look, it's never enough. But we are leaving no stone unturned as an institution to actually optimize the drive. And in this, it's not just only the Electoral Commission, it's a partnership. Remember, the political parties are out there in numbers, door to door, encouraging people to come out and to register. And I think there's a build-up of excitement and what is going to happen these coming elections. So the vibrancy of the competitiveness, emergence of independence, and also new political parties coming forward, I think it's building up the excitement that makes people to say, I don't want to miss what you call such a national activity. So people are coming out in what you call in reasonable numbers, but we're taking this opportunity in saying the registration and update is not yet closed. We urge everyone to come out.
All right, let's shift our focus now and take you to where Deputy President Paul Mashatile is addressing. This is at the St. John's Faith Mission. Let's listen in.
His Excellency Dr. Haig Bob, the President of the Republic of Namibia, has passed on. My condolences to the First Lady and the family, and I'm sure our President will send the message of condolences to the family and the people of Namibia. Rata haki dumedisa kerekaje no haki tsamai kilimu. It's not the first time I come to this church, but today I'm not alone. Tsamai mena shatile, tsamai apelai tapili, baisi mohamudi. Le manuwa parliament bate le bona talaruna kajelu le ba kiseleta le bona office ya deputy president kerato limelisa kadimiso na Jesu Kriste idumelise to ya kereke ya motho fatseng tlhaloso e felileng ya kgotso lerato le boitumelo. It is a great pleasure that I stand before you. Itumetsa haholo go ba mo kajeno le lona ka letsatsi le re tlo ketekang re gopola maphelo a bao ba kileng ba etapele kereke ena, the leaders and the prophets who have undoubtedly left an indelible mark on our hearts and our souls. Remoga Jenu to celebrate them. Rekiteka maphelo a bona re gopola gagolo mme Archbishop Christina Ngu, recognized the late leaders and prophets such as Dr. P.J. Masango, Lady Archbishop Anna Masango, and Dr. J.B. Mara. We remember their contribution to the betterment of our society, which will forever be part of our history. Harkake Ramibala, Mr. Diabona, Itaban Pere Kukulanga Makotote, Mumapilon, Aruna, as part of our history. Mzalaiso SABC, I should mention that this is not the first time, as I said, to be attending this service, but I'm very grateful in the Wahulu, in the Naramuhelakato, rated Kajel to worship with you. As someone also raised in the church, I fully understand the significance of this occasion. As the book of the First Thessalonians, chapter 5, verse 12 up to 13, says the following: Dear brothers and sisters, honor those who are your leaders in the Lord's work. They work hard amongst you and give you spiritual guidance. Show them great respect and wholehearted love because of their work, and live peacefully with each other. Close quote. Wabuti barona, wausi barona, barete lampe, harba trompe, hamaseleza karabona, baseleza kata, baseleza selezwa mundi. Rebatrompe, merbarate, mer tapena kamposo, kaufela rona. Ever since Prophetess Christina Nku established the St. John's Apostolic Faith Mission Church in Everton in 1988, we have observed profoundly the ability of the Church of God to bring about change. Utuelaika lile kereke naka 1938, itoulwa ke Prophetess Christina Nku to bring about change could be thanks to the diligent leaders who have dedicated their life to improving the lives of others. We give thanks to God that He has given you the fortitude to expand the church. Like the Rebellia Tomagabo 1938 in Everton, saying the Tulon Zone Teltana Hayarona. Not only here in Katahom, but everywhere in other provinces in the Eastern Cape and other provinces. Kereke, Yapola, Kabakala, Miselezi, Yabaruti Baruna, Yabaita Baruna, Batanza, Miselezi Warundi. This growth is a result of strong leadership. If there is no strong leadership, the church will never grow. The church will never be strong. But because of strong leadership, we can see the success of this church. Reverend Director, I believe you can attest that the leaders of this church are indeed good shepherds. They have a thorough understanding of God's work and have provided invaluable support through the spiritual journey of this congregation. Baetapele ba kereke na ke badisa ba lokileng gagolo. They are good shepherds. Ba etsa mosebetsi o montle wa Modimo ba etsa mosebetsi o modimo a ba neile mona gore ba o etse ka tshwanelo. Mme in our spiritual journey ha ntse re tsamaya lebitsong la modimo, re tsamaya mosebetsing wa modimo, re a bona gore phuthego e sebetsa hantle, phuthego e sebeletsa modimo. Program Director, now is a good opportunity to reaffirm our dedications and teachings of love, compassion, faith, and these revered figures have passed on to us. By the Bible have passed on to us compassion, love, lerona tshwanetse re tswetse pele. Re rate setšhaba sa rona, re rate phuthego ya rona, mme re etse ka moo ba re rutileng ka teng bona. Re sebetse mesebetsi ena in all our communities and work with everybody with love and compassion, with respect, but also with care, with humility, discipline, to service humanity. Let us remember that our actions and choices carry weight and make difference in the life of others. So they have weight in other people. Haba tubare sheba leba etapele ntote dietsang dia kubona le bona. Ikamore tshwanetse ka nako tsohle re sebetse ka tsela e tshwanetseng. As the Bible has commanded, pray for the leaders. Maruna le phuthego re kopa le bapelle baetapele ba naga so that they can grow in their knowledge and wisdom in the journey of nation building. Ha ntse ba sebeletsa setšhaba re ba be dithapelo ka nako tsohle. 2024 ke ngwaga o le gore re keteka 30 years of freedom. It is 30 years of freedom, and in this 30 years, the church has always been with us. So this is not just the 30 years of freedom that was brought by political activists alone, but the church has always been there. Despite the target of the apartheid regime, Baruti Baite, Hababua this morning, Babon, apartheid, the churches as well did suffer. They were not left alone. But today we are happy that we can celebrate 30 years of democracy under a government every Khetile Runa. Musowaruna or Khetile, where everybody can exercise their own religion. Hauna Mutaka Utanurari, Uskaya Kerekeniana, Uskaya Kerekeniana, Iya Kerekenian, you have the freedom of religion, the freedom to worship wherever you like, because we, together with all of you, have brought this freedom. Because of your contribution to the struggle as a church, today we have something to be thankful of. This freedom and democracy that we enjoy today. Our government is working very hard to address all inequalities And we know these things can't happen overnight. But we know that every day when our government wakes up, knows that there are people out there who need jobs, we must grow the economy, we must make sure that we fight crime and corruption, and make sure that kaofela totally the funds in Lena by the Baruna by the Program directors, regardless of many challenges that were faced during the apartheid regime, the church stood firm, preached the message of peace. Legajelo Harlemona, Legajelo Redemuso, we always preach the message of peace. Not only in our country, but in the continent and throughout the world. Several years ago, I read a journal that defined peace as the absence of violence and turmoil. Peace as a genuine responsibility relationship with God. Peace as a constructive interaction between people. Peace as an individual virtue of state, such as tranquility or serenity. Peace, and lastly, peace as part of greeting one another. We want peace at all times because violence, wars cannot bring about development. This congregation, you are always committed to peace. So as we get into the elections this year, we want to make sure that they are peaceful. And we know the church will pray for peaceful election. Now we know you always pray. And you will always pray that this country continue to have peaceful elections. Election in other words, the ANC will lose and rig the elections. That is not true. It will never be true. The elections in this country have always been free and fair. We've got an independent electoral commission. So we are looking at free, fair, peaceful elections that will be headed by the IEC as soon as the president announces the date very soon. Ba tsaba kuluza, ba bona hore ba tlo luza, ke bona ba buang taba. For these elections were not free and fair. They have been stolen, they have been rigged. But we know that the elections will be free and fair, and our people will go and cast their vote for the parties of their choice. But people must never create doubt in the mind of people that the elections will not be free and fair. Side by side as well to tackle gender-based violence. In our society, in our communities. Let us work together to fight gender-based violence and femicide. Let us work together to fight criminality, to fight inequality, to fight poverty. Really sechaba, really puteho, really more. We urge you to continue collaborating with government. Muso will grow the economy, will fight poverty, gender-based violence, make sure people get jobs, make sure there's peace. We are saying, Muso. Because Muso is Muso Kabat. The government is the government because of the people. We should work with our government to deal with all the challenges. Because if we do so, we will definitely bring up a better life for all our people. Program Director, as I conclude, allow me to remind you that the ANC-led government has always valued interaction with faith-based communities because its history and modern vision are rooted in the religious sector. When the ANC was formed in 1912, it got the Reverend Lagalbale Dube, who became the first president. When they formed the ANC. That's why sometimes when people ask us, why Batuma ANC Batakereke? We come to church because it is home. This is home. This organization comes from here. It belongs here since it was born in 1912. ANC Kalwaka 1912 Baile Baopela Sefela Sena Seri Lezalise Idinalapo Tito Osienyanisu. God of truth, fulfill thy promise. That's when the ANC was formed. So our founding fathers prayed to God and asked Him to be with us in this journey of nation building. Today in the African continent, there is no organization as old as the ANC. 112 years. Because Lentanganole is said that there is Gati. Nasong is cut. We will remember to walk on the footsteps of Reverend Lagalibale Dube, on the footsteps of Oliver Tambo, Albert Lutuli, Nelson Mandela, Charlotte Makeke, Reverend Hendrik Kaya, and many other organizations. In fact, Reverend Kaya was the first chaplain general of the African National Congress. To come and worship the Lord with you and the congregation. Let us continue to fortify our bond with the shared objective of fostering and improving life for all of our citizens. Let us become the catalyst for transformation of our people, the transformation that is so urgently desired. May we aspire to mirror the unwavering commitment and moral character demonstrated by our past leaders. Bishop Masango le babang ba se ba resile re latele tsela e ba sebedisang ka teng ba sebeletsa di community ba sebetsa lebitsong la Modimo. ke a leboha haholo ha nka re Modimo a ka le fa matla mme wa rona kereke e tie e gole le tswele pele le sebeletse setjhaba sa rona le tswele pele le sebetsa ka tlhompho ya Modimo re a leboga haholo re be le lona kajeno to come and worship the Lord with you. We've been here since 11 o'clock and we've enjoyed everything that we were doing with you in the church. Little group Mole choir, we were very happy. The way that Shapan Katim, you Wauta, Ugenaki Moy. We are the Wahulu and Singapore.
All right, those were live visuals there where Paul Mashatile, the ANC Deputy President, has been worshipping with congregants, African National Congress. Apologies for that. That's where we leave it for today. We're back again next weekend.